636 views on the last one. That was going to be the segue into the start of the podcast, but I don't know if you want that face in it.
Yeah, that's fine.
And so, what is going on, everyone? Welcome back to another episode, Popular Demand. I am back joined by my twin brother, Tom, here. I'll put the mic more to you there.
Hello.
What's going on? So, today we're back for another podcast. I don't know if this one will end up being whether half an hour like the last one or even longer. My throat doesn't feel as bad this time, so that's good. How you feeling? How you been?
I'm good. I'm yeah.
We need to post for a thumbnail. Let's post for a thumbnail. Oh no, let's not do that. But I think actually it's probably wise if we minimize this so we can't see what we look like, so then we don't look at it. Because I was looking at us last time. Now we have the lens to look at. Now we have you. So yeah, how you been? How you been? It's been a week. This will hopefully go up on the 8th of April, by the way. Last one was on the 1st. Go check it out. But anyway.
Yeah, it's been a week. I have done some uni work. I've gotten better at garden cricket. I've pinged a few balls over the fence and onto the roof.
Yes, the weather's finally been getting good. Like, it was about a week or 2 weeks ago we'd go out and it'd be windy and we'd be sort of like, oh, this is a bit uncomfortably cold. For me, somebody's quite warm and you get quite warm as well. Yeah. It was like the line between wearing a jumper and not was very much, I don't really know if I should wear a jumper or not. Whereas today,
start wearing it and
now it's just you go outside without a jumper without question and it's pleasant. But yeah, so you've been enjoying lockdown?
I think in a way I've done more exercise in lockdown because now I'm like, it is my right.
My
it is my
divine
right to exercise. I'm going to.
Can you do me a favour? We'll show your hand. Can you just turn up the dial slightly like you did last time on the mic? The left one that's lighting up as I speak. Just a little bit. Yeah? We good? I don't know. I can't see where the dial's at. Your leg's there. That'll do. We'll go with this. We'll speak into the mic. Hopefully it's all okay. That's how we do. Because... yeah, okay, so you feel like you've had a pretty active lockdown. Are you more used to it?
I'm used to it, yeah.
It's weird to get used to it, isn't it?
It's going to be weird, like crossing the road earlier and a van was in the road and I was like, there's a car in the road. I was like, I don't know where to go. I don't know what to do. I've forgotten. Yeah. I just walk now. I mean, granted, I pretty much did that before, but now I just go.
But also, I mean, I suppose obviously you were on a uni campus, so you're quite used to being among people at least, but... me, not so much, other than the gym. But nowadays, like you said, because everyone has that urge to exercise once a day, they feel like if they don't go out, they've shortchanged themselves. So it's weird in a sense, walking by people like today, there were quite a few people considering because it's warm out. We went out at lunchtime, so a lot of people were around. But it is weird how you still have that bubble. Like, we're not getting close to anyone. It's weird, isn't it?
Yeah.
It's so strange. Like, we're all in it together in our own separate little bubbles.
Like, the last person I hugged was in Egham.
Yeah, that's where Tom goes to university.
And that
by the
was
way.
what?
Same.
3 weeks ago?
Minus, I might have hugged. I think I hugged Mum up like a week ago.
Yeah, you did. Mum told me.
No, yeah. Big movements, and also we've been playing because at the moment it's funny. I feel like we're doing quite well in this lockdown. Currently, as a family, we haven't really had any bust ups, any fights yet. But the other last night was okay. Actually, but a couple nights ago, because we probably 3 times a week we've got into the habit of playing cards in the evening. We play a game called Shanghai, which usually takes about 2 hours.
Yeah.
And the night before the last one we did it got really, really heated, and I think it was mostly me and Dad that got a bit like aggressive because we're like, right, and then we're like, oh, it's today. The cracks are starting to show. It was 2 weeks in, so yeah, it was a couple nights ago. 2 weeks into the lockdown, but I think we're doing quite well as a family.
Yeah, I mean, last night it was definitely me. Getting very annoyed.
Yeah. It was. So we thought, for the start of this podcast, we'd take a look back at the comments on the last one. So please, any more, because I did, to be fair, although I haven't done a personal solo podcast in the last week, I was maybe thinking about doing it yesterday. My throat wasn't quite right. It hasn't been quite right for the last week. I wasn't feeling motivated. We did say that you and I could do one once a week, and it just so happens that this will go up a week after the last one. So maybe it's a little Wednesday thing. We could do that. But anyway, let's have a little look at some of the comments. There's 32 comments on this one, 636 views, which I think is great. Because I said this before, I think my reality was a little bit warped in the sense, I initially looked at the views on this channel and thought, that's a bit low. But it was never that high. We'll get to that.
Yeah.
Speaking of high, it was never that high on this channel. It was usually about 400 or 500 views a video in Vlogmas, and that's what I'm doing now. So that's great. So anyway, let's see. We've got. I remind
Please
myself to
do
binge watch your
another
channel.
one.
Yep, there's that.
Thank
Please do
you.
another one. You guys bounce off each other really well. It's really funny to listen to some of your embarrassing stories together. Question. Yeah, what is your worst memories for each other? We read this and then tried to discuss it. And I initially opened the conversation with, I don't really know, like about bad memories.
Yeah.
But then you mentioned when you assaulted me in church,
Yeah. Okay.
which happened. I don't know if that probably hasn't been said on this channel. I'll let you
so
give
there
your
was-
account.
It makes me look really bad.
Because let's just, before we go any further, that's because he
I
was
was
bad.
good.
This
So-
is an accurate representation of what happened.
in my angsty teenage years.
How old would we have been?
Oh,
14, 13, something around there.
we were in church, not during a service.
No.
Just to clarify, we were in the house of God all the time. So we were in the church building, and there was this really tall guy who was like 6 foot something.
Andrew.
Yeah, Andrew. The
He's
Irish
from Ireland.
Andrew, the perfect. He'd be like, "How are you going?" I'd be like, "What?
How are you going? Yeah.
How are you going?" I'd be like, "What? How are you?" Oh,
How
thank you. How
are
are you?
You go to Andrew. Say how. Say are. Say you. Going. How are you going? How are you going?
It's a problem. It's just like, he's like, have you heard of my friend Jesus? And you're like, yes, thank you. And
Have you heard of my friend Jesus?
Anyway, so Andrew's there, and he's big. Yeah, he's not fat. He's like
No, he's like
muscles.
6'6", 220 pounds.
got like a rugby ball here and here under his skin.
Yeah.
And I don't know what we were doing, but we were
It
mucking
was
about
the youth
with bean
group.
bags.
So
It
it's
was a
just
youth group,
throwing stuff about.
and he like wrenched my shoulder out my socket, and like it really hurt.
You
And
were
I-
like wrestling.
and I was like, and I just sort of fell on the floor and
He
died a
sort
little
of
bit.
threw you to the ground.
I
a bit.
basically, and I sort of died a little bit. And Matt, being actually quite altruistic,
It's completely just a nice thing to do.
came over and was like, "Oh, we
I
didn't say
went-
Gub at this
I
point,
went to-
but he was
no.
like, oh, effectively Gub, are you okay?"
You're right. Yeah.
And I just saw red. I looked up. I looked into his eyes, and without hesitation, and I can't really tell you why I did this, but without hesitation, I just clenched my fist and smashed him square in the nose, and just gave him a massive nosebleed.
just bled everywhere.
And I still don't really know why.
And this is why I don't look back as a worse memory, mostly because it's not as though you and I were in a fight, we were really angry at each other and just let loose. I look back as it's just funny because because we have such a good relationship, you're just not a violent person for the most part. You're
I'm
just
now
not.
thinking of the Christmas tree camera.
Well, yeah, we'll get to that. Another nosebleed. Can you spot a trend here? But that time you did make me angry. But I just look back on it and
It's so stupid.
it's like I'm not even mad at you because it makes such little sense that clearly something just didn't work in your brain. Because
Something
so the way
broke.
I saw it, I saw Tom get thrown to the ground. I stop what I'm doing. I go over there. I lean down to ask if he's all right. And when he says without hesitation, literally just turns around. Fist is already wound and just lets me have it. Just punches me. I've never been punched other than that time. Actually just punched in the face, and he just let me have it. And I was so shocked. I was like, why? I'm just bleeding everywhere. And it's just funny.
Although, just to clarify, you did used to bleed a lot. You bled during like a dress run for a show. You bled when Tom Baker flicked you in the face during
It was a very
science.
hard flick.
It was a
but
flick.
no, I had very weak. It wasn't like a little bloop. It was a flick with like a punch behind it. So it was like duff,
Oh, whoa.
like that. That's what it. So it wasn't like bleep. But the idea was, he reckoned he could get my nose to bleed with a flick because I had quite a weak nose at the time. Because not because it was weak to begin with, but because I'd kept getting hit. Like in year
basketball.
year
didn't you?
8, I got concussion because someone went to hit the basketball with the palm of their hand and just palmed me straight in the face. My blood stained that court. The court's no longer there. They built a new building on it, so my blood is beneath the foundation of the new school building. But yeah, from a young age, I'd have like nosebleeds and stuff. I haven't had a nosebleed now for about a year. I remember having one at my old apartment when I was ill, but I don't get them typically. But yeah, he just punched me just out of nowhere. But now that brings us on nicely to this situation with.
So this is a two-way thing. So really, I think your worst memory of me is just like a compilation of the amount of times you had to stay in because of me.
Which we did mention in the last
Yeah.
podcast.
But one of the times, he was at his friend's house, and it was in December, so the Christmas tree was up.
We were off
and-
school.
Yeah,
because
so Christmas holidays, and I phoned the house because it was just down the road. Like, oh yeah, Mum says you have to come home because the room is.
I was around my friend's house,
and you have to stay in until it's tidy. And Matt was like, "Oh, I'm gonna get you." I was really angry when he hung up. So I, in my wisdom, was like, "Okay, I need proof if he's gonna get me," because at this point he was a lot bigger than me. I mean, he is now, but like only muscular-wise. At that point, he was just bigger than me in every sense, and could have just broken me like a twig. So I took a video camera and hid it in the Christmas tree.
Oh my goodness, the
turned it
fume!
on and just had it ready in the lounge, and then I just sat in the lounge and waited for Matt to come. And obviously Matt came in, got really annoyed. I may have slightly antagonised him. I don't think I did. But
here's the funny part. Obviously, I didn't realise that when I'd come home, Tom heard me come in, and you can see on the video footage that sadly doesn't exist anymore because he deleted it. And we'll get to that. Kind of backfired on him a little bit. But he hears me come in, and he's like, right, my time to pester him and annoy him, because I was so annoyed. And he gets up and walks on his tiptoes like this past the camera as if to be like, how am I going to annoy him today? And then we wrestle. Well, that's the thing, we never like punched.
He grabbed me and threw me to the floor.
Yeah, it was more like
horrible,
sumo wrestling.
Horrible trauma.
Because obviously we're aware, like, punching, I would say, and kicking, but you regularly kicked because you're a kicker, which is very, very annoying. But punching and stuff, that's painful. And although we're angry, the goal is to never do great harm to each other. It never has been.
You don't want to leave a mark.
Of course.
that's the goal.
So you just kind of wrestle and you like submit them and you're like, admit defeat. But we were like wrestling and stuff. And the reason the footage got deleted, I got onto Tom's back and I was like, it was almost like a horseback ride kind of thing. And I was just sort of in control. And I was kind of like, not throttling you, but I had your shoulders. And then Tom just whips his head back. Bam! And they got it on camera perfectly. Just headbutts me in the face and just...
Nosebleed, blood everywhere.
And just before the blood starts coming out, Tom stops the recording and deletes. Which is incriminated him.
Now, I really would love to watch that video.
Okay, I remember exactly how I looked.
Because I remember exactly what it looked like.
You were wearing your old England football dressing gown, and I looked like an egg. My hair was this long, round face. I was wearing just a white t-shirt. Might have been the old Cowboys t-shirt. And I was such an egg, and I just remember exactly. And I remember that. Oh my god!
I can remember. I hit me in the face. Get off me! Boof!
Get off
me! Doof. That's true.
And then I went like that, and then Tom just quickly goes and turns the camera off.
And then checked you were okay. Priorities, you know.
Yeah, and of course I was just bleeding, but then essentially the adrenaline's then gone, and it's kind of the dust has settled, and I'm less tilted. I'm back to being depressed because I'm being kept inside by you, but. I don't know, because those are both times you hurt me. So I don't know, what would your worst memory be? Not to be on a negative note, but we're reflecting positively at least.
When we were in year 1 and there was this lovely Astro slide thing, which I don't know if they're even allowed anymore. You get in the like Hessian sack and you go like down the slide. And Matt did this weird like thing where he'd like lean his body back.
Lift my legs up.
The angle. And I
lifted my legs up. So I was essentially sliding on my butt.
And so I thought, he keeps winning in the races. It didn't occur to me then it was just because he was chubby, so he was heavier. So I was like, okay, I'm gonna. And so I tried to do it, but I leant too far back and sort of did a backwards roll while going down the slide and twisted my wrist around and landed it and snapped my wrist. And so I broke here and here.
Yep.
And Mum and Dad didn't even believe it was broken, so I just went to bed like crying.
Well, because we were on holiday, I think it's kind of one of those situations. Like I can imagine if we were parents, for instance. Like, if it happens and it's on holiday, so it therefore inconveniences our good time, we're kind of like, let's just... We'll deal with it when we get home.
I'm not going to say where I worked, because I don't want to get fired. But there was a time where a kid that I was working in a school, like 15, broke his fingers, and we were like, let's just not go to A&E. So I just taped them up and didn't tell anyone. Well, no, I did. I wrote it in the accident book. But then he
may have broken fingers.
He came in the next day, and his hand was like bluey purple because I'd done it too tight, and so I had to undo it. I don't know if you know this. I then had to undo it, and he went into shock and passed out on it.
He's just like,
and he was like built like you, like he was a big lad.
Yeah.
And he broke his fingers because I threw a rugby ball at him in the first place.
Wow.
So it was really to him. And so, so I broke his fingers, splintered them wrong. He passed out. It was a nightmare. But
legally speaking, Tom was playing sport with him and then did his best as a first aid trained individual to fix the problem.
And it's all fine. It went in the accident book. My boss knows about it. It's fine. But
just mistreating children.
The point is, my point is that, like, yeah, as the almost parental figure for kids, you do when they get injured just think, walk it off.
Yeah, because it's just inconvenient.
And
why?
The last day at work last year, I spent 4 hours overtime. So not even just 4 hours, 4 hours overtime in hospital with a kid, and all he did was jump playing volleyball and land. That's all he did. But he managed to twist his ankle so badly that he broke it in 3 places. Three places. So like, they were like, oh, he doesn't need to go to A&E. And about an hour later, it was like an egg under his skin.
Yeah.
And it took. It was horrible.
That's the thing with kids. Whenever I've been like looking after a child, or they do something stupid and they like hit their head and they do the loud piercing scream, it's like, why have you done that? Why? So again, what was the memory? The worst one?
The memory.
When you broke your arm trying to copy me
because Matt was a bad influence.
Yeah. So basically, given that
all the time you gave me a black eye on the trampoline.
How?
Similar to the other way around, it was kind of like a horse thing, and you went back and headbutt me, and I got a black eye.
Oh, so I didn't give you a black eye.
You did. You headbutt my face.
You got a black eye.
You headbutt my face.
Yeah, but it wasn't like a Kaya! Like a Zinedine Zidane headbutt to the face. I didn't do that. Or
maybe, okay, bad memory of you.
Okay, here we go.
The time that I got my brand new Whizzy mixer, like my electric whiz, and I was using it. This is back in my straight days.
I got so angry.
And I was using it, and I was like, oh, this is really good. It's like a dream. It's really cool because it was so good. The old one was awful.
Yeah.
And Matt was like, oh, you're being all girly and taking the mick at me and being really rude and generally not very pleasant.
Not that rude. I just called you camp. Like, that's not... It was a fact. I stand by that.
I'm in denial. I was in denial at that point.
Exactly.
And so Dad, knowing that I was so upset and offended, came up to Matt and just put the tiniest bit of the cake mix on his shoulder. And
that was on my nose.
On your nose, was it? And he just went ballistic. Dad had to pin him to the fridge because he started whacking him with the tea towel. No.
The reason was... The reason it got to me, I remember, is because, first of all, from where I'm coming from, as your brother and as a child, obviously, you speak your mind and you generally speak honestly. I did. Yeah, and I just said you were being camp, and you were, and you'd admit you were.
Not.
Yeah, you were.
I was not.
You have camp tendencies. You carry yourself in a way that you might think you're quite camp, and you can't deny that. It sounded like for a second you were going to deny that. Look at you.
For a straight person, I'm really camp, but I think for a gay person, I'm really mellow.
Well, yeah, exactly. But the bottom line is,
I was a kid anyway.
The bottom line is, you are gay, so. Compared to a straight... If we're being stereotypical here, which, if we are, though, you were camp.
Okay, yeah.
Yeah.
I just... Slightly, at times, occasionally, moderately
feminine.
Camp child.
Yeah, and I mean, yeah, and I just said that. But the reason it got to me is because I know that Dad knew he was getting to me, and I hated that. I was like, he knows he's angering me, and I just had so much rage, and I was like, and he just had to, hold me. It was just a little, if someone's really angry and you're very... you're quite calm. And he was just like bloop with the cake mix, and I was like, I can't express myself. So it was like that. But yeah, okay, let's see next.
That was
comment.
The first comment. Comment number 2.
I'm subbed to Pixel 2. Go and check out Matt's other account. It's got loads of awesome Rockly content.
And me on it.
If you want to, yeah. Okay, so someone saying great video. My dad has pigs and blankets. I'm trying to see the ones that are specific questions. Pixel, how should I start my YouTube channel? Poor Gub, don't worry, Tom. Been thinking long enough to remember Gibby days. Yeah. Okay, yeah, that's fine. Sibling questions from Nala Kitty, who is, to my knowledge, my longest standing viewer because she's been watching me for about 7 years. Unreal. Right, sibling question. Who's the one that runs headfirst into scary or dangerous things? I don't think I've read this far. Oh, it's edited, so I think she added it after I already read the comment. Okay, that makes sense. And who's the one that stands back and waits to see the results before joining? In my experience, there's always one that's more cautious than the other. Depends in regards to what.
So
money, I'm like, do it. I'm all in.
I don't have any to do that.
Yeah.
But when it comes to, I mean, cycling, I'm just like, let's go.
I think you've just been hit so much. You just well, I'm gonna survive, so let's
Like,
just go through red lights.
At this point, I'm just immortal, functionally.
Yeah. I feel like everyone has a slight feeling of I'm kind of immortal though, because I always say to my friends like nothing's killed me yet. So it's hard to I'm saying it's hard to believe that something can kill
but you've
you.
also not been seriously injured or ill.
No, exactly. Like I say to someone, I swear I could just survive falling off a building because nothing's killed me yet. So I'm like, I'm just exactly. So I'm like, I'm invincible. Obviously, that's not the way to look at it, and I don't condone jumping off buildings.
As someone who's been hit by a van and a taxi, I would definitely say you're not immortal. But actually, I am fine. So
exactly, that's what I'm saying. You've been hit by moving traffic, been sent across the road
more than once. So like, but.
Yeah, so would you say you're...
I would say I'm probably the one who just goes into more dangerous things because I feel like, maybe not as much now, but certainly when we were younger, I was probably more likely to headbutt someone.
Yeah. Oh,
because I got into far more fights.
Certainly when we were younger, I was more...
shy.
Almost more calculated. I think about things a little bit more.
I didn't think, oh, this guy's bigger than me. I just thought, if I'm determined enough, he'll think he's so confident he must have some secret hidden up his sleeve or something. So I was just like, stare down.
Yeah. Well, put it this way. We'll put it in a more easy to understand, perhaps more up to date context situation. If let's say you and I both saw someone that we liked in public, you're much more likely and have done many times to go up to them and initiate something.
That's not dangerous.
But to a lot of people, and many would agree with me, to put yourself out there to someone you don't know, that is a dangerous and uncomfortable situation.
I did know.
No, just anyone.
Oh yeah.
You would go up to a stranger and give them your number.
Yeah.
I probably would not do that.
Because you don't need to.
Well, yeah, exactly. But like,
I have to find them. But it's harder for me.
Well, no. But so that you're, and you're just like, yeah, let's do it, let's go for it. So in that sense, like maybe a social setting. You're probably more like, I'll just do it.
But then you're much more confident on camera.
Yeah. Oh yeah. Like if someone came up to me, filmed something, or asked me to do something or whatever, I'd be like, yeah, go for it. But that, I mean,
so would I.
Yeah. So I don't know. It's just on camera. That's just a practice thing. That's not a. I don't know.
It's not personality.
Then again, I was never shy on camera. Some people start off shy, but even when I was 12 years old doing card tricks on camera, and I had no business being on camera.
Absolutely.
No one wants to see that.
No.
I was never.
Mum wanted to see that.
I was never shy. Now I think that's a bit weird. I don't know.
You should have been.
Yeah, exactly.
You should wake up embarrassed.
Exactly. Izzy just said, I remember your video on you guys doing Wait If You Got It. Been a while. I appreciate that. Let's see.
Nothing like except the eyes. Oh, interesting. Do you want to look at the camera a sec and just...
Yeah, someone said we look nothing alike except for the eyes. And I just figured our eyes are different colours. Then someone started bringing an eye shape to it. And maybe that's something you subconsciously see someone to think that you then might think they look similar because of the eye shape, but it's not something I take note of. I don't look at eye shape.
Not round.
Like in my mind, everyone has the same shape eyes. I mean, they don't.
But yeah.
Your brother's cute. I'm sure you wanted me to read that one. That was old Malcolm. You replied.
Did I? Oh, I said, oh, thanks.
Thanks.
You don't have a picture, so you could be like a 60-year-old man.
It could be a 12-year-old boy.
Oh, okay. I we both went to different ends there.
Yeah. In fact, I will look briefly at the Pick a Pixel videos.
I mean, I've got a great one here.
Go for it, by all means.
So
I much prefer this podcast in the sense it's nearly 25 minutes in and my throat doesn't actually hurt.
So Joe Walker, is that someone that we know?
No, it's no
Do you
one
have
is.
A cricket person?
No, trust me, no one that comments I know, because if they know me, they wouldn't comment. They'd just message me.
Someone I know commented on the.
Yeah, but I don't know them.
But I do. Anyway, it says your brother looks very tired, and then basic syphilis 8. Great name.
Basic syphilis.
Basic syphilis commented in reply.
It's where his name's just inspired by the fact he's just got 8 different diseases.
His bro is only high. That's all.
Yeah. Okay, so I'll drop this to you guys in the comments of this one if you've watched this far. Who would you say looks... If you could pick one celebrity, character, or mythical beast, if you are so inclined, would you say... We'll do both of us. Looks like me and looks like Tom, because I don't want to influence what you put, but think of it, pause it, and then do it. But no, let's go through our list. Who do you often get compared to, and then I'll do it for me.
Okay, so I have here...
Oh, great.
A Marv.
You can hold it a bit closer if you like. There you go.
A Marv pop vinyl. Because apparently...
Yes.
Matt thought, oh look, a pop vinyl of you.
Did I get you that?
Yeah, you got me that for Christmas.
I did. Oh.
So,
Oh yeah, I did. Yeah.
So that I get Marv.
You do look like Marv.
One of the kids in the school I worked at told me I was a great actor, actually because of Home Alone. But another kid told me that they said if you've seen Home Alone, you're a great actor. I was like, how old do you think I am?
Yeah, that would make you like at least 60.
Yeah, and another kid actually asked to take a picture with me and sent it to their family. And yeah, I don't know if you knew this. They actually took a picture with me and sent it to their family, captioned, "I've met Mr. Tumnus."
Wow, okay. Maybe because also they knew your name was Thomas and they misheard it slightly.
Maybe, but they were like, "You're Tumnus." No,
you are a little bit
like
that's
that. Really not nice. But then I suppose James McAvoy's not bad looking, is he? I don't know. I don't just go wandering shirtless around the forest, but
no.
I get Mr. Bean when I've shaved.
Yeah, big Mr. Bean.
And when I yawn.
But also I think your mannerisms sometimes help with some of these things.
Yeah, okay.
And you always used to carry around a teddy like Mr. Bean.
Yeah, I love a good teddy.
Exactly.
Transitional objects are really important. I've learned a lot about that at uni, you know.
Yeah, psychology in that.
Psychology.
Any more? But to be fair though, if you put those two next to each other, there'd be similarities. You all look similar. You could all be siblings. Mr. Bean, Mr. Thomas, Marvin, you all fit that.
I think for you, for a time it was Frankie Muniz.
Yep.
Gibby.
I never looked like Gibby in the face. Oh, maybe a little bit. But it was more just the little chubby childhood body.
A little bit Joffrey. So Jack Gleason.
His name? I don't know, but about 4 years ago, I used to get Joffrey Baratheon or whatever his name is from Game of Thrones, the character there,
Baratheon.
So much. I've never seen Game of Thrones, hence the
I
mispronunciation.
actually have.
But I get it a little bit. I'd sometimes get Elijah Wood.
That's just the eyes. There's nothing else.
Yeah, probably. See, I used to a lot during the Far From Film days actually, when I had like the jawline and the blue eyes similar, and that was pretty much it. Daniel Radcliffe a lot, but I think that was also helped by my accent.
Yeah,
just a bit. English. Yeah, just being a bit like him, which kind of adds to that. Because I also occasionally got Tom Felton as, so it's like Harry Potter and Draco Malfoy's love child would be me.
That's just Cursed Child, which is terrible, by the way. The show's great, but the script is terrible.
I'm gonna search it and see what you think.
What?
How do you spell his name? Who? There we go. I get him a lot. Wait.
What on earth is this?
Sherdan Shakiri.
He's a bit old for you.
I mean, Sherdan Shakiri. I don't know.
Tell the viewers how to spell that, please.
It's Xherdan Shaqiri, the Liverpool player. I'm trying to think of another.
I know all about football.
There's another Tim Sherwood. Only one person ever says this from cricket. Apparently, I look a little bit like him. He's quite old, but Tim Sherwood. Maybe I could look like him in 20 years. Maybe.
No, I don't see that.
But it's hard to see what you're going to look like. But I don't know if you saw, I shared on Facebook. I did when I was bored.
Oh, yeah.
I did one of these celebrity lookalike quizzes. And my main match was Idris Elba at 98%. And then the next
98%.
three were Michael B. Jordan, Donald Glover, and the guy who plays Black Panther. I can't remember his name. And obviously they're all black men. So I shared the post saying, can't quite put my finger on it, but something here doesn't add up, because apparently all my celebrity lookalikes are black. And maybe you could look like a black person, or if you're white, and vice versa. But I don't know.
I don't see it.
Nah. Me and Idris Elba, I see it quite strongly. But other than that, I wish. Yeah, I don't think... Yeah, I think that's pretty much summed up who I would say I kind of look like. I don't know. Yeah. Which is fine. I mean, I think I've come more to terms with how I look now. I think that
you see it so often.
Well, that's the thing. Yeah, like sometimes I'll be editing and I'll pause the video, and obviously when you film a video, say you film for 10 minutes, every millisecond of that 10 minutes is captured, and that's one frame. You know, well, every frame represents about 1.4 milliseconds. So you get roughly every millisecond of your face. So it's never going to look natural when you pause it.
No.
So I see my face at some angles, and I'm like, oh my, I'm ugly. Like, so ugly. And here's the thing. I mean, people are more attractive when you see them moving around. I know if you think about someone that you think of that you've seen before, if you see a picture of them,
pictures never do them justice.
Yeah, but then you see them in person and you see the way they move and the fact they move, and see them as a 3D thing, they all of a sudden look better. Even the way their hair falls, if you're looking at a girl, for instance, or a guy with long hair. And as a as what you know them to be in real life, you find them really attractive. But just a flat picture or a freeze frame in an edit, I'm like, what a creature I am.
But also, because I say it flattens you, and so the camera adds 30 pounds. You know?
Oh dear, I spent ages losing that. Now it's back. But yeah, so that's that. I don't know about you, but I'm starting to get a bit warm because I don't know if it's because I checked my phone. It said 21 degrees on the home screen, and I'm now conscious of that, and this light is hot. I'm getting a bit toasty. I feel like this has come to a nice natural close, but I feel like it's also left plenty to do another one about for another week's time. So if there's anything you'd like to add before we end, because now that I've made it known that I think I'm hot, and I now know that everyone watching knows I'm hot, I'm getting very hot.
Oh, I thought you meant like, because you were just talking about like body image. You're like, now that everyone knows I'm hot.
No, I'm getting boiling.
Because honestly, I am like Shrek when it comes to being the god of self-confidence. Like, I think I am so sexy. Like, I look in the mirror and I'm like, yeah, you jiggle that belly. Like, yeah, you know, someone wants that dad bod.
It's true though. I mean, that is true.
Yeah,
it's a great quality to have.
Great, you know.
I think it's. Oh, I was saying before we do go. I was saying maybe yesterday or something. I feel like I think it was yesterday. So how very few, basically no old people, certainly in terms of body image, just have no self-esteem issues. Just in body image alone, because they've come to terms with what they look like. And also when you're old, it's much less likely that you're going to be able to do something about it. Once you're young, if you look at what you see and you don't like it, you can change it for the most part. Once you're old, it's much harder.
I accept my fate by then.
And
I'm going to enjoy my
life.
I
can't wait to get to the stage where you just have no insecurities for whatever reason. Maybe you've got a lifelong partner, or you've just got a family, and you're just comfortable with yourself. And I think that's a good goal to aim for your whole life. And that's why so many old people act like they don't care, because they don't care about anything. You know, anything that doesn't involve them or their family. I aspire to
be our grandma.
Yeah,
I aspire to be that woman.
Yeah, like I can't imagine. Maybe because I feel like for a younger person, they could look in the mirror and get really down about what they see. They're like, oh, this is just not. An old person might be like, oh, maybe that's
stray hair there.
There you go, got a bit of extra flub there, but. Anyway,
for the winter,
what's for breakfast? You know, this is that kind of thing.
Second breakfast.
But yeah, I had a lot of fun doing this again.
Yeah.
It is very, very hot outside. Today's the hottest day of the year. It has to be so far.
Same time next week.
So yeah, I'm sure at some point, maybe we won't leave it to the day of uploading to film it, but we'll try and do a weekly podcast. We did say that last time. It's ended up being at this time. Happy Easter.
Yeah, after
next time you see us, it will have been Easter. So stay safe, have a good time, eat lots of chocolate if you want.
He is risen. Hallelujah.
Yes, and anything else you want to add before we end? Was that all?
Well, Jesus is alive, you know, Easter. And that is it.
And that is also, drop a comment. We'll do what we did last time, because we had no plan going into this, and it's flowed nicely. We'll look at the comments, and yeah. Anything out? Any celebrity lookalikes? Any memories? Anything you guys want to chat about? We'll read it. Even if it's not a question to us, you just want to tell us your life story. We'll read it.
It's true, because I don't have like
anything
a channel
to do.
Or really much to do. I just read all the comments on the ones that I'm in, because there aren't very many. So it's much easier for me.
So yeah,
you have a lot of comments, by the way, that say like, Pixel, you say you read every comment. You need to.
I know,
message me.
and I read every single one. No, I read every comment because I don't don't lie when I say that.
You just don't reply.
Yeah, because most of them don't warrant a reply. Like if they say I really enjoyed that video, I'll give it a heart.
Oh,
but if they just say
I don't know how to heart.
Well, yeah, you can only heart on your own uploads.
Oh.
Yeah. You can't go and heart other people's comments on other videos. I love that. That's what the thumbs up button's for.
Oh.
But yeah, because some of them I know I keep ending it and then we go back to something. But right, someone just says.
He's defo
a Tory. That's in relation to you.
What?
Yeah, defo a Tory.
Sorry.
That's,
okay.
No, that's not.
Right.
Oh
Sore
dear.
point.
Oh dear. He's definitely not.
I'm just not. Okay.
You just sound like one.
I'm educated. That you can vote other than Tory and be educated. In fact, I would argue you're more educated if you don't vote Tory. Ooh. Anyway, it's gotten political. So
I don't think statistically that's correct, but
I'm sorry. Most universities are left wing. I'm just saying.
But yeah,
it's a shame you're not very well financially.
Yeah, he's talking about you, I think.
If you want to help out my PayPal, there'll be a link in the description below.
But there's certain things like that just don't warrant a reply. Enjoy reading this comment. I read it. I do read every comment because every video, even if every video gets 200 comments, that's like 10 minutes of reading a day. So yeah.
Wow, that's more than I thought you did.
There we go. So that's going to do it. We'll see you if not in a solo podcast by myself. Before next week, we'll see you next week with another twin podcast.
Woo, we should got twin talks. I don't know, like
We'll figure it out.
alliteration,
Yeah. All right. See you guys later.